New home. Once upon a time, there was a snail who lived in a garden near a river. He had a cozy home under a big mushroom. The snail crawled around the garden every morning. He admired the flowers and grass. He enjoyed his life. The rainy season was coming. It started raining. The snail liked rain. The plants would grow well. The snail went out. He splashed in the puddles. He slid on the leaves. The snail didn't notice it was raining heavily. The river was rising rapidly. The water overflowed its banks and flooded the garden. The snail was swept away by the strong current. He tried to hold on to something, but he couldn't. The snail was carried far away from his home. He saw trees, houses, and bridges passing by him. He felt scared. He saw a floating log and managed to climb on it. He curled up on the log and waited for the rain to stop. The rain stopped after several hours. The sun came out and dried up the water. The log landed on a dry patch of land. The snail got off the log and looked around. He didn't recognize anything. He was in a strange place. He felt lonely and lost. The snail tried to look for his home. He crawled along the ground. He hoped to find a familiar sight. The snail asked other insects for directions, but they didn't know his home. He kept crawling. He was hungry and tired. Suddenly, the snail met a path and saw a sign. The sign said, "Welcome to Snail Village." He thought snails could live there. The snail followed the sign until he got to a village. He saw a lot of snails with different shapes and sizes. He had never seen so many snails before. The snail wondered if they would welcome him or not. He approached a group of snails talking. The snail said hello and introduced himself. The other snails smiled and greeted him back. They asked him where he came from. He told them his story. They listened with interest and sympathy. The snails told him that he was lucky to find Snail Village. This was a place for all the snails. They could live happily and peacefully. They invited him to stay with them. They offered to show him around. The snails thanked them and accepted their invitation. The snail followed them. He saw beautiful gardens with many flowers. He saw their colorful houses. The snails gave him food and drink. They told him stories when they were eating. They made him feel at home. The snail felt happy here. He loved the new friends. They were so kind and generous. He liked the village very much. He decided to stay here. This would be his new home.